Hey guys, welcome back. And today I want to talk about some updates, a few mistakes I made, and possibly maybe you spoke a little prematurely about my future in ham radio. That's all right here, right now on Ham Radio for Non-Techies. Well, welcome back, guys. As always, I'm very happy to see everybody showing up and watching my videos and stuff. My name is Scott. My call sign is KI5NPL, and I run the Ham Radio for Non-Techies channel here, where we try to simplify ham radio and get you on the air as quickly as possible, whether you're new or just looking to get into ham radio. So a couple quick updates here. Obviously, you know, I have the website hamraderfornontechies.com. If you haven't been over there, you need to go check it out. And if we go over to the site here, I have some updates here. If you're paying attention to what's going on over in Cuba, Alex has a bunch of videos. He's been doing a lot of interviews with other ham YouTubers out there, and he's got some really good information out there. So if you're not really sure what's going on or you're interested in learning about that, head over to my website here, and I've got a whole playlist of different videos where he's been on and talking about the situation in Cuba and how it's affecting ham radio and what's going on with the people there and this and that. Very interesting stuff, and he's got a very, very unique story. We were on with Josh last weekend on his after chat, and just getting a really, really crazy story about, you know, what he went through to get here and this and that, what's going on in Cuba and things like that. Very moving, very, very interesting stuff. So check that out there. Also, keep in mind, I don't know if you've missed some of my last videos, we did talk about, I have a section on the site under ham radio tips here. It's called current ham radio conditions. And that brings you to this page here, which shows you the different charts of the K index, A index, and the SFI index for ham radio propagation. And down here on the right side they'll tell you kind of, you know, what bands are open and what bands are poor at the moment. So utilize these things. hamraderfornontechies.com. I built the site for you guys to check out, and hope you guys enjoy it. Anywho, getting back to what I wanted to talk about, a couple updates. As you know, my last video, I purchased the DX Commander Classic, and I set it up for about 5 different bands. I've got it out there, and I was having some issues. I was talking to you guys about doing the 40 meter band, and yeah, well, you know, that was interesting because the problem with the 40 meter band wasn't the antenna; it was me. Duh. So. We'll go back over here to the website, or back over to the desktop here real quick. First of all, when you get the antenna, read through the instructions at least once before you start building it. That way you have a basic understanding of what's coming up, and then go back and just follow exactly what Callum describes on how to build the antenna to suit your needs when you get it. So if you look down here, when you work with the 40 meter element, he has this little note right here. And it says, note, for USA Region 2 ham radio, reduce the foldback or cut the wire by around 12 inches for residents above 7.2 megahertz. Okay, well, I had planned on doing that, but I had it bent back at the time and folded on itself and, you know, strapped to the antenna to kind of see what was going on. I don't want to cut it and have to re-add more stuff to it. Well, I was having issues getting on the 40 meter band. And I'm kind of apprehensive about even revealing what the problem was. It was stupid on my part, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to catch a whole bunch of flack in the comments, but that's okay. I'm man enough to take it. The problem was when I switched over to 40 meters, and I was scrolling through trying to pick up stations and tune them in and be able to hear them. I didn't realize that I was on upper sideband. Yeah. I was on upper sideband. And the second I switched over to lower sideband, miraculously, I'm able to pick up all the people on 40 meters, and I can hear them just fine. Just as crystal clear as anything I was doing on 20 meters and all the other bands I was working with this antenna. But yeah, it was my stupid fault. And the problem is I relied on my 991 to automatically switch modes and stuff for me. And you can put some faith into your radio's always high-tech little gadgets and features and things, but, you know, it comes down to due diligence. And, you know, I should have actually sat there and thought about how I was going to do all this, and making sure that I had the band set up correctly. So that was really basically just my own stupid fault, and I cannot believe that I did that. So, you know, it was just a really dumb thing on my part. And then when I went back and fixed that, like I said, everything worked out just fine. So now the big deal is I've got these 20 not radiating, always 20 counterpoise wires coming out of the bottom of this thing. And the other day I'm going out to mow my yard, and I'm realizing that there's a problem here. Lawnmowers and counterpoise wires don't mix. So I had my wife come out with me the first time, and she gathered all the wires up, kind of held them up in the air while I went by and mowed around the antenna. I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. So there's going to be an upcoming video of me actually doing this, but I'll give you kind of a hint now what I'm doing. After talking to a couple people online, talked to a couple other hams and stuff on YouTube and things like that, I've decided to go ahead and purchase some yard staples. And I want on Amazon because Home Depot and Lowe's, my local hardware stores, nobody carries these things without special ordering it. So you know what? I'll get it from Amazon. And it was like $8. So I got 100 galvanized steel yard staples. They're about an inch wide, about eight or 9 inches long. And what my plan is, and I'm hoping it does, I'll do a before and after test and see that. You'll see it all in the video. But I'm going to put 5 staples down per counterpoise wire so that it's as close to the ground as possible. That way I'll let the grass grow over it a little bit. I'll have to mow a little bit higher in the yard. Not a big deal. But that way I can actually mow around this thing without actually running into these wires all the time and possibly having a chance of it catching on one of the wires and trashing my antenna. So we'll see how that all works out, and we'll get that rolling. So that was the two big things as far as the DX Commander. Great antenna. I've had nothing but great results with it so far. I've been really happy with it. I was actually so happy with it that I went ahead this morning and purchased the Expedition. And I know some of you are like, well, you already got an MPAS 2.0 and that's supposed to be all in. Yeah, I get it, all right? But I had the funds, and I've heard nothing but great things about the Expedition version of this antenna, which is supposed to be portable, so you can use it for POTA and SOTA and all this, you know, just have a portable antenna to take out in the field with you. So I want to give that a shot, and there'll be a review of that, of course, after I get it all built. And I'll be, you know, focusing on, you know, how practical is it to carry this thing around and set it up. I know a lot of people, K8MRD, he uses this all the time and loves it. So I'm pretty sure I'll have pretty similar results with that. But I'll let you know when that comes in. Like I said, I ordered it today, and it's Friday the 30th. So it should be here Monday or Tuesday. He's pretty quick with the shipping. So as long as everything rocks and rolls with that, I'll have this thing ready to go, hopefully sometime next week, and get it all built. So that's the updates for DX Commander. The other big thing is I am currently challenging myself to try something new. And this where we go into the possible misspoken words out of my mouth a couple months ago. I did a video a while back. I think I was talking about upgrading to your general and stuff like that. And I pretty sure I said something along the lines of, and I quote, I will not get my amateur extra. I don't see a need for it. I'm perfectly happy with general. Yeah, that was a load of crap. So what I'm currently doing is I'm currently studying for the amateur extra right now. And I actually have the book. I just bought the little book here to study with. And what I'm trying to do is I am cramming for this test, and I'm trying to get it done. Because the next testing phase in my area here is on August the 7th. It's right now, July the 30th. I've been studying for about 3 or 4 days now with this book that I got. And I'm trying to cram for this thing in about, 8 days now. I got 8 or 9 days left before I have to take the test. So we're going to see if I can pull it off and see if I can pass and get my extra. I figured, why not? I've gone this far. I've gotten my general. What could be the harm in getting the extra? The difference is, though, on the extra, there are 622 questions in the question pool, of which they pull a random 50, and you got to get, of course, 74, 76% to pass, whatever it is. And so it's about 37 questions you got to get right to pass. So it is considerably harder than kind of racking my brains, even with having this little cheater book here. It's been quite the pain to sit there and read the stuff. Now, granted, being in ham radio now for 6 months or 7 months now since I got my technician, and a month later got my general, and having the experience of working on the radio, watching people on YouTube talking about this and that, and experiencing different parts of ham radio. Some parts of this were like, oh, I've already done that. I can get that. That's cool. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff in there, like just the nitty gritty, like little parts and, electronic components and this and that. That stuff that still kind of screws me up a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. If I pass, you'll see a big video of me going, hey, I got my amateur extra. And if not, I probably won't be mentioning it too much because I'm going to have to eat crow there a little bit. So we'll see if that works out. So with that, once I'm done studying and hopefully pass my extra, the next phase I'm going to do is learning CW. Now, the reason for this, and I probably said this before, I never want to learn CW, blah, blah, blah. But then I thought about it. We had a discussion one night. We were on one of the after chats with some of the other YouTubers, and we were discussing this, and we were talking about CW. And yeah, it's literally learning another language. But with all the different tools and resources out there that will help you to learn it, including the Long Island CW Club, which is probably what I'm going to end up joining. I just can't do it right now while I'm trying to study for the amateur extra, because that's overloading my brain enough as it is. But once that's all done and over with, and I can focus on learning CW, I figured why not? And here's my reason for that. When you study for and get your test done, and you get your ticket for technician, general, extra, whatever, if you're not using CW, you're not learning CW, looking at the band plans and stuff you have that you have available to you, you're only using about 2/3 of your available license. So, and I'm not trying to influence anybody here. You may be completely happy with never giving a flying crap about learning CW. That is fine. I'm not trying to influence you. I'm just merely stating the fact that by not using that other portion of your privileges, you're only using about 2/3 of your license. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I give this a shot. I mean, they teach it in Boy Scouts. There's tons of people around the world that learn CW. And there are some killer advantages to it. And in fact, that you can communicate with less power, less equipment, so on and so forth. So it does have its advantages. Disadvantages are obviously you're learning a whole new language. And yeah, you're not going to pick it up in a week. You're not going to pick it up in a month. It might take 3 or 4 months to do it. It depends upon your dedication and what you're planning on, what your motivation is for doing it, and how much time and effort you put into learning it. So that's going to be one of the other things I'll get to after I can hopefully pass my extra. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, I apologize a little bit for, prematurely saying, well, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. It's, I don't know where I'm going with this. I totally lost my train of thought. I do want to get all these things done, and I guess it was kind of dumb for me to go off and say I'm not going to do this. And I know I'm using the little cheater book here, which isn't really going to teach me much since it only has the questions and answers in it. But here's the deal: get the ticket. This is my philosophy on ham radio for right now. Get the ticket, whether it's technician, general, extra, all 3, 1, 2, whatever. Get the ticket to get you licensed for that level or that class of ham radio operator. You have a lifetime to learn all the nuts and bolts of everything else. Okay. So I don't care personally how you go about learning and memorizing and taking and passing those tests. You're going to have even, there's stuff in the technician that I didn't learn until after I took the technician test. I passed the test and I started learning stuff after that because I could do it on my own time, not under the guise of the pressure of a test. So I'm enjoying it that way, and studying for the amateur extra now will help me to, maybe prod me into getting into some other parts of ham radio down the road. But I just want to get the ticket now, get that done and over with. And I got plenty of time to learn. This is not a hobby where you just, you have a finite end to where you go, and then that's it. You know it all. It's a constant learning event because you're going to be constantly, they come up with new things in radio to do. There's new modes, there's new techniques, there's new equipment. So you're going to be constantly learning no matter what. That's just one of the cool things about being in ham radio. So that's in my little rant there. The last thing is, I was talking to you guys about my Go box. We did the Go box video a couple days ago. and I was complaining a little bit about that battery meter that I put in. And yeah, if you look at the instructions, there are like 4 or 5 wires, but it's the way that I had to wire it up because I wanted it to read the current coming off of my radio, what that was drawing, as well as the battery and this and that. So I had to wire it a little bit differently to get everything in there, and that's what caused my frustration. So I'm trying to sit here and think about how to do all this without blowing anything up, without trashing my brand new radio. So I, it took a little while, but I got it. So, I mean, if you have a need for that, I still stand by it. If I could do this all over again, I probably wouldn't have that in there. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to look at. It's kind of a cool feature to have on there, but I don't care what anybody says. I didn't like wiring it. And then I added switches and other things into this thing, which is added to the pile of, okay, which wire goes where and how do we do it without blowing things up? That was definitely interesting. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you for right now. I just want to give you a couple quick updates and kind of, just keep you in mind of what's going on with my life here. If you don't see me too much on putting out new videos, it's because I'm really, really trying to dedicate time to cram for this test. I'm not sure, how many other people out there have actually tried to take the Amateur Extra by studying for 12 days and then going and taking the test in hopes of passing. So we'll see how that works out for me. Like I said, if I do pass, you'll hear all about it. If I don't, probably not so much. But anyway, guys, if you're new here, please give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and please consider subscribing and clicking on the little bell and be notified when I do new videos. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great weekend and stay safe out there. Get out there and do some ham radio stuff and make those contacts and have fun with the hobby. My name is Scott. My call sign is KI5NPL. This is Ham Radio for Non-Techies, and we are clear.